Hello, in this last part of the introduction of Access, we'll practice some of the queries. Under Access, we have four major type of objects. Tables is where we hold the entities and the data. And the forms are the bridge we enter data into the tables, and the reports are some of the you do the data retrieval and prepare reports to the users. And there is one more category we call queries. So you can see that group under the create for query wizard or query design. So the queries is basically your data search. So after you have an understanding of all of the data you have in the tables, so you want to search some of the data based upon your criteria. For example, a particular group of cars, or dealers, or the services, okay, based upon the time, or based upon the revenues, or based upon the state. So to name all of your criteria. To start a query, and we can normally use two approaches, so query wizard or query design. The query design is more open, like you design like which table you want and which data fields and your criteria. And you also can write your own SQL code to do the data search. And let's try with the query wizard, okay, first, because this is more a what I say, is kind of the template. Okay, so you can use like a group of templates, steps of template you can follow to create some simple queries. So I will choose from here and a simple query wizard. And it will ask you, oh, which table you want to search your data, right? So because we have four tables already linked. So first I will do a simple search from the auto. To auto table, I'm getting all of the fields, okay, similar to the tables, but I will specify my criteria later. Okay, so all of the data fields from the autos table, and next, so showing the details, and the next, okay, like auto query. So I'm going to finish. So it really gave me a full, like the data sheets what we already have under the auto table. Now I'm going to insert my search criteria. So go to the home and under view and create a design. Now you can see that's what we have done, right? So we select the auto table and all of the data fields. Now I'm going to put a criteria under the state. I only want to retrieve the data, the vehicles from Texas, state of Texas, for example. So here I can simply put my criteria, okay, like in the matching with. So field, so like which field, which table. I don't have sort here. You can do the sorting later. And I'm showing all of the fields. And if you want to hide some of the field, you can uncheck them. Okay, but you can do that any. And now I want to put a Texas, okay, lowercase or uppercase, okay, just equal to Texas. So insert a restriction on the results. Or in this case, I think even you can, for example, if I don't really need the person ID, right? So I can uncheck. So that will hide the person ID field. Okay, but I'm adding back again. And now after you put the search criteria, go to under the query design. To query design, that's a place you can run the query you designed. So run it. And now you can see our results is limited to the Texas autos only, right? Not the original datasheets having all of the states in the database. Okay, so that's a query, so simple query. So query again is data search from your existing database based upon certain criteria. Now I can always revise. So if I go back to the view, right? So query design. For example, I'm choosing Texas or and they have a simple or, like put it here. So I call, so equals to Texas or California. Okay, so it's pulling vehicles for both states. Okay, that's the evaluation. Now I go to query design and run. And you can see now it's getting the vehicles from both states. How this is supported, how the access did the data search, and that we can tell is so you go to the home, and now let's select the SQL view like the SQL. That's actually the code represents our search process. So the code is because we use a query wizard, so means you don't need to write your own code. Okay, we can just put the table, the fields, criteria, and access will come up with the code. But for professional database managers or like the database person, they actually prefer to write their own code. Okay, like to do all of the data, creating the database, maintaining the database, searching the database. So for the SQL language is very simple to follow. They use the common English, like the English, like the commands is showing here using the uppercases. You can see we are selecting. So select followed by the attributes name, right? So we are using one single table, but they put the table name between before the field, right? So make it more precise, right? So accurate, because sometimes you may have the same data field in multiple tables. You want to specify this is, for example, the personal ID is from the auto table or from the like the honors table. So select the field you want to choose, and from followed by the table name. And here we are doing a single table. We can do joint search. And then my criteria, so very important, they are evaluating whether the state equals to Texas or California. Okay, so the SQL, we will start to learn the SQL, the fundamental SQL code in the second project. But let me close this. Okay, so auto, I will save because I added my criteria. So this is a single simple query. So now let's create a joint query. For this one, I will create, but this time I'm going to use a query design. And the query design, now we are selecting the tables is like the relationship. So I'm getting the auto, and also, for example, the service. So auto and the service is received, right? So I want to get the auto and the related service, right? So the data will come from both tables. If I don't have the link, I couldn't do this joint search. So after I got this, I will decide, okay, so probably, you can select the field from each table. I can just double click, or you can select from here. Okay, so it's showing all of the column choices. And maybe I'm just do simple, okay, like the person ID. So auto ID, person ID, and then I'm selecting the dealer ID, right? So which dealer did the service and the service date, and then the total charge. So 5 attributes selected from both tables, right? So like no other criteria, it's just a joined table or joined query. So go to the query design and run it. And now you can see the query will combine the information we want, right? So auto ID, and then the services is received. Because if you go back to your tables, okay, I only have 2 service rows, but you can add more. If you add more, you will get more results from your queries. Okay, so let's go back. So it's combining the information from 2 tables based upon the link, okay, they have. So this one I'm going to close and save. Yeah, save it, and the name of this one I can call auto service. So simple query and joint queries, right? So that's like so the query in another way we call is like data search, or depending on your criteria. If you want to see the SQL, like what's the code for the second query we did, so you always can open the query and go to the home, and it still select, right? But now we are selecting attributes from two tables. And then from, we have an inner join from the two tables. I explained the inner join in class. So means we only get the data shared by both tables, right? So common data values from both tables. We also have honor join, left join, or right join. Okay, so that's like the SQL. And so let me close. I think I will stop here. So that's the first database, like on under access. So give us a feeling creating the entities in the format of the tables, right? So and then use the forms to enter data into the tables, and how to generate queries and reports from your database. That's the purpose for the first project.